Morning yogis, welcome to YOGALATES. For this class, have 2 bricks. If you don't have 2 bricks, have a book with the same height and including a strap. If you don't have a strap, use a belt and then have the length, at least shoulder width, that you can place above the elbows when we do use the strap. For this session, if you want to play some upbeat music, please do so in the background. And so I'll let you set up. So if you need 2 bricks, or if you don't have one, have at least 2 books with the same height. If you don't have a strap, get a belt with the length of your shoulder, and then prepare some music in the background to get starting with the practice. So with YOGALATES, it's not a flow class, it's working on the activation of the necessary muscles in the body to help you build the necessary strength, and most importantly, to avoid injury in your joints, in your muscles. So we'll do some conditioning drills of 3 sets. If the 3rd set or the 2nd set is too much, you can always take a break at any time in child pose. Okay. So we'll start the practice. We'll start by warming up the wrist. So come into tabletop position, shoulders above the wrist, hips over the knees. And we'll make a circular motion around the crease of the wrist. And at any time you can move the other way counterclockwise. If there's a spot that doesn't feel right in the wrist, spot there for a few moments rather than passing by through that sensation. And come into neutral. Place the palms facing towards the sky, fingers pointing towards each other. Arms straight, bringing the shoulders above the crease of the wrist. If this is too much, you can rock back and forth. If shoulders above the wrist is okay, small or big cat and cow, listening to the sensations in the wrist. And start the Ujjayi breath, inhaling through the nose. And exhale that ha sound with the intention to fog your wind down. Breathe in. And then breathing out. Continue with the movement. With the breath. One more inhale. And exhale. Place the hands back, fingers pointing towards the front. And rock the shoulders back and forth. Whenever the hands are on the mat, fingers spread wide like sunburst. Crease of the wrist parallel to the short end of the mat. And do press down into the base of the thumb and the first and next finger. If there's flotation cupping there, it will radiate pain to the wrist, elbows, all the way to the shoulders. And come into neutral. Tuck the toes and then bring the knees, the hips back into downward dog and pedal the legs out. If you want to open the side of the ribs, sway the hips and the heels from side to side when you're on the balls of the feet. For those who are hypermobile, make sure that the eye of the elbow is facing towards the thumb. For another 3, 2, 1. And inhale, walk the hands back towards the feet. Exhale, bend the knees, allowing the belly to rest on the upper thighs. And rock the feet back and forth. If you prefer a ragdoll here, grabbing the elbows, allowing the head and the neck to hang heavy. And whatever feels good for you here. And breathe for 3, 2, 1. And inhale, root the feet into the floor as you come all the way up, arms over the head. And exhale, Samastiti. So here we'll use a brick, placing it between your inner thighs. Make sure that the brick is sticking out. If you don't have a brick, you can use the book. But if it's a book that will start folding, maybe you might prefer a pillow. I should have mentioned the pillow. So if you prefer to squeeze a pillow between your inner thighs, that's fine. So by squeezing the brick between your inner thighs, automatically the body knows that's your inner thighs, your quads, outer hips that are engaged, which helps to bring the pubic bone down, keeping the low back nice and flat, supporting the lower back. And then from here, we're going to activate the arches by lifting the toes, spread them wide, and place them back down. Big toe, little toe, heels rooting into the floor. And then we'll start the Ujjayi breath as you inhale through the nose. We lift the lower cage away from the hips. And then exhale that ha sound with the intention to fog a window with a slight more suction, 3 fingers below the navel, the Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Breathe in. And then breathing out. Once more, inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale, raise the arms. And exhale, fold forward. You can always bend the knees as you fold forward. And inhale, walk the hands away into plank and hold. If it's too much to be in plank, you can always drop the knees here. But making sure you're tucking the tailbone down, pushing away the mat, expanding the space between the shoulder blades, and then tucking the lower ribs in. And breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, drop the knees, the chest all the way down to the floor and untuck the toes. Hands next to the breast, elbows tucked in. And inhale, pull yourself forward to create more space in the lower back and lift the shoulders up. And stay here. You can lift the hands off the floor, keeping the inner thighs, quads, outer hips engaged to support the lower back. So you're squeezing that brick. Another breathing for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, release and come into tabletop. Tuck the toes into downward dog. And breathe here for a few breaths. So even in the downward dog, you're engaging your inner thighs, quads, outer hips. If your hamstrings are tight, where you can't bring the heels down to the floor, then bend the knees. Bring the sit bones back so you can keep the spine nice and long. If your hamstrings are tight and you try to force the heels to go down, and if your spine is curling, that's coming from this restriction in the hamstring. So bend the knees. And then from here, inhale. Rounding the spine, moving the shoulders above the wrist. And exhale, lower the hips down, but hovering. And inhale, push away the mat, lifting the chest up, looking at the horizon. Exhale into downward dog. Once more, inhale, lift the heels, curl the spine, shoulders above the wrist. And exhale, bring the pubic bone down, hovering the hips. And inhale, push away the mat, lifting the chest up into this floating up dog. Exhale into downward dog. Once more, inhale, lift the heels, curl the spine, moving the shoulders above the wrist. And exhale, bring the pubic bone down. And inhale, lift the chest up, collarbone open. And exhale into down dog. One last time, inhale, lift the heels, curl the spine, shoulders above the wrist. And exhale, bring the pubic bone down. And inhale, lift the chest. And exhale into downward dog. And breathe here for a few breaths. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. And inhale, walk the hands back towards the feet. Exhale, bend the knees, allowing the belly to rest on the upper thighs. And inhale, bring the feet into the floor as you come all the way up, arms to the head. And exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, raise the arms. And exhale, fold forward. You can always bend the knees, then slowly straighten the leg, looking between the toes. And inhale, walk the hands away. And then hold here. Making sure you're not arching the back, collapsing the heart. You're tucking the tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulder blades. Suction, Uddiyana Bandha, suction lower ribs, pushing away the mat. Fingers spread wide like sunburst. Crease of the wrist parallel to the short end of the mat. And if your legs are straight, digging the balls of the feet into the mat, squeezing the quads, lifting the kneecaps up for another 3, 2, 1. And exhale, lower the knees, the chest all the way down to the floor. Untuck the toes, hands next to the breast, elbows tucked in. Draw your body forward to create more space in the lower back and lift the shoulders up. And breathe here for a few breaths. If you prefer the hands to be off the floor or arms alongside the body, palms open towards the sky for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, releasing. Come into tabletop. Tuck the toes into downward dog. And breathe here for a few breaths. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathing out. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift the heels. Curl the spine, shoulders above the wrist. And exhale, bring the pubic bone down and hover. And inhale, lift the chest up. Collarbone open and hold here. If you want to rock your rib cage from side to side for 3, 2, 1. And inhale, center, exhale, downward dog. And inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. And inhale, walk the hands back towards the feet. Exhale, fold forward. You can bend the knees if you want to, allowing the belly to rest on the upper thighs. For those who have a straight leg, make sure you're squeezing that brick. The more you activate the quads, the more the hamstring releases. And for those people who have a straight leg, make sure that the back of the hip is in line with the back of the heels. Okay, so if you have a straight leg and the hips are behind the heels, that will strain your knees and your hamstrings. So if that's the case, make sure you bend your knees, and it's okay that the hips are behind the heels if your knees are bent. But for those who have a straight leg, make sure you're finding that forwardness in the forward fold. And inhale with the feet into the floor as you come all the way up, arms to the head, and exhale. Samastiti, one last time, one warm up. Inhale through the nose as we raise the arms up, and exhale, fold forward. And inhale, walk the hands away where the shoulders are above the wrists. Squeeze that brick. If it's too much, drop the knees, making sure you're tucking the tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulder blades, engaging that Uddiyana Bandha, engaging, tucking the lower ribs in, and breathe here for another 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower the knees, the chest all the way down to the floor. Hands next to the breast, toes untucked, tops of the feet on the floor, elbows tucked in. Inhale, pull your body forward to create more space in the lower back and lift the shoulders. Hands off the floor if you want to, or arms along the side, palms open, and breathe here for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, releasing, come into tabletop, tuck the toes into downward dog. And breathe here for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, drop the knees and remove that brick. Then come into top pose, toes kissing, knees wide. For those who want a little bit more opening in the armpits, instead of child pose, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can do a variation of the puppy pose, where you place the hands on the brick, hovering the hips off the heels, bringing the hands further away, allowing the forehead to rest on the floor. For those who want to go into the full pose of puppy, remove the hands off the brick and bringing the hips above the knees, hands further away, allowing the chest and the chin to rest. And breathe here for 3, 2, 1. And inhale, come out. And exhale into downward dog. Inhale, look between the hands. As you exhale, step the right foot forward. You're on the left balls of the feet, right knee tracking the right ankle, and inhale, come up into Crescent Lunge. And exhale, hands on the waist, and hinge the hips by bringing the psoas forward to lengthen the psoas, to open the psoas. And from here, exhale, lower the left knee down. And then hold it for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten the back leg for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, hinge the hips, lowering that left knee, right hip in a straight line. If it's too much, you can be a little bit higher for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten the back leg for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, hinge the hips, lowering that left knee for 3, 2, 1. One last time. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, hinge the hips and lower that left knee for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, plant the hands and step the right foot back into plank. We're going to create a box with the right knee. So if it's too much, you can always drop the knees down to the floor. And then we're going to bring the right knee into the chest, outside the right triceps, lower the right to the right wrist, over to the left wrist, up to the left tricep, over to the right tricep, lower to the right wrist, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up. One more time, right, down, left, up, right leg back. And pedal the legs out. We're going to do the left side now. So inhale, look between the hands as you exhale, step the left foot forward only. Left knee above the left ankle, really grounding the balls of the right foot. And inhale, come up into that Crescent Lunge. And exhale, hands on the waist. And hinge the hips to open the right psoas, lowering that right knee where the left knee, left ankle striking. If it's too much for the left knee, left hip to be in a straight line, you can be higher. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten the back leg for 3, 2, 1. And hinge the hips and lower the right knee for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten the back leg for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, lower and hinge for 3, 2, 1. And last time, inhale, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, hinge the hips and lower for 3, 2, 1. And exhale, plant the hands and step the left foot back into your plank. And once again, we're going to create that box with the left knee. So if it's too much, you can drop the left knee down to the floor. Making sure you're not arching the back, collapsing the heart, tucking the tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulder blades. And we're going to bring the left knee into the chest. The foundation is the right leg, squeezing the right quad. And bring the left knee outside the left tricep, lower to the left wrist, over to the right wrist, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. One last time, left, down, right, up, left leg back, and lower the knees into that child pose. And once again, if you prefer to do the variation of puppy, you can place the hands on the brick, allowing forehead to rest, and maybe bringing the sit bones away from the heels, opening the armpits, bringing the hands further away. If you want to go into that full puppy variation, bringing the hands further away off the brick, bring the hips above the knees, allowing the chest and the chin to rest. For 3, 2, 1. And inhale, come all the way down into placing the belly on the mat. So we'll do some conditioning exercise where the shoulders are above the elbows, elbows shoulder width, feet hips apart or feet together, whatever feels good for you. Yeah, so we're going to go into the low plank, really engaging the muscle. So in yoga, we don't just engage one part of the body, it's a whole body engagement. So interlace the fingers, creating a fist. We tuck the toes, squeeze the quads, lifting the kneecaps up. And inhale, lift the core. I like to make the stance a little bit shorter, so I have the whole balls of the feet fully mounted on the floor. And we're not arching the back, collapsing the heart here. We're tucking the tailbone down, so the low back is nice and flat. Yes. And expanding the space between the shoulder blades. Really suction Uddiyana Bandha as if you're trying to sew that Uddiyana Bandha towards the spine. And then tucking the lower ribs in and looking at the fist. And smile if you can as you breathe here. Engaging the whole body, squeezing the quads, lifting the kneecaps up. And then breathe here for another 3, 2, 1. And exhale, lower the knees, the belly, and untuck the toes and rest. So for those who feel there is that, how do you engage the inner thighs, the quads, outer hips to tuck the tailbone down to support the lower back? Once again, you can place the brick, the wider side, between your inner thighs. If you don't have a brick, you can use a pillow instead. And then we're going to tuck the toes, squeeze the quads, lift the kneecaps up. And inhale, lift the belly. And making sure your balls of the feet is grounded. And then tucking the tailbone down, squeezing that brick. As if you're trying to bring the pubic bone down. And expanding the space between the shoulder blades. Tucking the lower ribs in, squeezing the quads. Actually squeezing that brick if you are. And tucking that Uddiyana Bandha towards the spine. Another 3, 2, 1, and exhale, lower the knees and drop the belly and untuck the toes and rest here. So for the third set, you have the choice to rest. So with yoga, we never push through pain. We never push through our edge of the resistance. We want to listen to the body. So if the body's saying, can you take a break, have a sip of water, go ahead. For those who want to join me for the third set, of course, let's join and warm up the body even more. So tuck the toes, squeeze the quads, lift the kneecaps up, and inhale, lift the belly, tucking the tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulder blades, suction Uddiyana Bandha, suction lower ribs, and squeeze that quad. If it's you have a brick between the inner thighs, squeeze that, really protecting your lower back, and then breathe here for another 3. Try to smile, looking at the fist, 2, and 1, and exhale, lower the knees, the belly, and untuck the toes and rest. So this engagement is really necessary when you do your Chaturanga, which we'll do later, but first we'll do the side plank. So come onto the left side, and where your left shoulders, left elbow stack, and then all the way to the left heels, it's in a straight line. And then we're going to bend the right knee where the right foot is in front. And then with the left forearm, you can either have the left fist or left palms facing down, whatever feels good for you. And then from here, inhale, lift the side core. As you start doming, make sure your shoulders are still stacked above the wrist. Check. And then from here, place the right hand behind the head. And then for people who feel like their shoulders are starting to hurt or your lower back is hurting, making sure you use your core, the six pack, to lift the lower cage away from the hips, bringing the back of the head in line with the back of the hips, all the way to the back of the heels. Yeah, so you're trying to stack the bridge in a straight line where there's less effort by being in the proper alignment. And once you feel stable, lifting that right foot onto the left foot for 3, 2, 1, and exhale, lower. And switch to the other side and to the right side. So making sure your right shoulders is stacked above the elbows, creating a fist or palms flat. All the way to the right heels is in a straight line, bending the left knee, left foot on the floor. And inhale, lift up. Yeah, making sure the shoulders are not over the elbows or away from the elbows. Shoulders are constantly stacked above the elbows. And then placing the left hand behind the head so you're not curling. Then coming out of the center of the gravity, you want to go into the center of the gravity where the back of the head is in line with the back of the heels all the way in a straight line. And once you feel stable in alignment, lifting that left foot, placing it on the right foot. If it's too much, you can keep the left foot on the floor and breathe here for 3, 2, 1, and exhale, release. Yeah, so we're going to do 2 more sets on each side. So the left side. Yeah. So with the second set, it's an option. So once you come up and then placing that right foot on the left foot, we're going to do some pulsing. Okay? So for the second set, left shoulders above the elbows, the back of the head, the left hip all the way to the left heel is in a straight line. Inhale, lift, placing the right hand behind the right head, making sure that you're in alignment, finding your center of the gravity. And once you feel stable, placing that right foot on the left foot, and then lower as you exhale and inhale up, and exhale lower, and inhale up, and exhale lower, and inhale up, exhale lower, and inhale up, and one last time, exhale lower, and inhale up, and exhale lower, and roll to the right side. So shoulders above the elbows, left foot on the floor with the left knee bent, and then inhale, lift, making sure your shoulders are above the elbows, left hand behind the head, so the back of the heels, the back of the hips, the back of the head, all in a straight line. Yes, and once you feel stable, you can lift that left foot on top of the right foot and lower as you exhale and inhale up, and exhale lower, and inhale up, and exhale lower, and inhale up, exhale lower, inhale up, exhale lower, inhale up, and one last time, exhale lower, and inhale up, and exhale lower. So of course, for the third set, you're more than welcome to rest, take some sip of water, if you're okay to do the third set. So instead of the pulsing for the third set, once you feel stable, wherever you're at, you can play for 5 seconds, whether it's right leg up or right sole of the feet into the left inner thighs, but making sure that you're really engaging the side core, so you're not putting that weight of the right sole of the feet into the inner thighs. Okay, so we'll start. So shoulders, elbows stacked, all the way to the back of the heels in a straight line. Right foot on the floor with the right knee bent. Right hand on the waist. And inhale, lift up. Placing the right hand behind the right head. Bringing the back of the head in line with the back
of the hips and heels, really lifting the lower cage away from the hips. Suction Uddiyana Bandha. You can stay here, right foot on the floor, or you can play for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale, lower. And we'll do the other side. So right shoulders above the elbows, placing the left foot on the floor, left hand on the waist, and inhale, lift. And of course you can stay here or placing the left foot onto the right foot, making sure you're not curling, but lifting the lower cage away from hips, suction, lower ribs, suction, Uddiyana Bandha, back of the head, all the way to the heels in a straight line. Or you can play for 3, actually 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale, release. And lie on the belly or lie on the back. And rest here for a moment. So just in case, we will practice how to engage the Uddiyana Bandha and the Mula Bandha. Okay, so everybody lie on the back, whether it's feet on the floor with the knees bent, or allowing the knees to flop back to the side into Supta Konasana, or you can have the Shavasana style where the legs are straight. So with the engagement of the Uddiyana Bandha and the Mula Bandha, we'll start with the belly breath. So when we inhale through the nose, expand the belly. So when we inhale through the nose, the diaphragm goes. So when we inhale through the nose, the diaphragm goes down. Okay? So when we inhale, as the diaphragm goes down, we're going to allow the perineum muscle to really relax. The perineum muscle is a muscle between your anus and your sexual organs. So really allowing the funnel to really open up. And when we exhale, the diaphragm goes up. So when we exhale, allowing the diaphragm to go up, we're going to use that energy to allow the perineum muscle to squeeze up, as if you're trying to zip up, as if you're trying to really squeeze that perineum muscle up by bringing 3 fingers below the navel towards the spine. So inhale through the nose, allowing the body to open up, relaxing those muscles. And exhale, squeeze up, and then bringing 3 fingers below the navel, the Uddiyana Bandha, towards the spine. And inhale, open up. And exhale, squeeze as if you're trying to zip up into a one size that is smaller. And exhale, inhale, open. And exhale, squeeze. And inhale, open to relax. And exhale, squeeze. And rest for a moment. So when we engage the Ujjayi breath, we don't do the belly breath. So the belly is always constantly still. So when we inhale, it's slight relaxation of the Uddiyana Bandha and the Mula Bandha. So we don't allow the belly to expand. We're just relaxing that muscle slightly. And then exhale, really squeeze. Inhale. And exhale, squeeze. Inhale. And exhale, squeeze. Really zipping up. And exhale, release. Inhale, open. And exhale, release. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. So now we'll do the core exercise from here. So it's a prep to Navasana boat pose. So we're going to have the legs straight, feet on the floor. So naturally we have a curve in our spine here. But to protect the lower back, we want to make sure there's no space between the mat and the lower back. So bend the knees, feet on the floor, and hinge the hips so there's no space between you and the mat. Keeping this integrity, lift the heels off the floor, making sure no fingers can go through you and the mat. And lift the legs up. Check, check, no fingers can go through the mat. And from here, you're going to honor this integrity as you lower the heels down to the floor, to your maximum range, where you can keep the low back nice and flat with your mat. And once you're at the end of your range, you lift the mid back and the head, arms alongside the body, a little bit more intensity, hands behind the head, or more arms alongside the ears, arms straight. And then from here, really engaging all your mula bandha, the uddiyana bandha, engaging your six pack. We're going to bring the heels down and up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scissors, right and left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, cross at the ankles, bring the knees into the chest, and rock the spine back and forth. Coming into seated. If the feet goes on the floor, that's okay. Crossing at the ankles, hugging the knees into the chest, making sure that the low back is protected by using the back muscles to be able to lift the lower cage with the hips, unloading the strain in the lower back. Trying to bring the knees into the chest as much as you can. And then you may stay here, or if you can keep this integrity, one arm straight or both arms straight. If the knees start to widen out, then go into both hands or one arm for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, roll down. And feet on the floor with the knees bent. Okay, second set. So making sure there's no arch in the back, supporting the lower back by hinging the hips, melting your spine all the way onto the mat. Lifting the feet up, check, check, no fingers can go through. Legs up, check, check, no fingers can go through. And honoring your range, lowering the heels down to your maximum range. Once you're there, lift the mid back and the head, arms alongside the body or hands behind, or arms alongside the ears. And up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crisscross for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, hug the knees into the chest and rock the spine to come to seated. It's okay that the feet goes on the floor. Hugging the knees into the chest, using the back muscles to lift the lower cage with the hips. If the back muscles is weak, of course you can use the hand as a lever to be able to lift the lower cage with the hips. And you can stay here or one arm or both arms for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, roll on the spine and feet on the floor. And of course you may rest for the third set, taking a sip, or join the third set. For me, it's really hard for me to talk and breathe at the same time. We're really engaging the core. Yeah, so let's have some fun. Hinging the hips down, making sure the low back and the hips. Yeah. And the mat is sandwiched, glued, feet off the floor, legs up, and then honoring your range, lowering the heels down, and lift the mid back and the head, arms along the side, or hands behind the head, or arms alongside the ears, and up and down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crisscross, right and left for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, hug the knees into the chest and rock the spine and come to seated. Crossing at the ankle. And then one arm or both arms for 5, 4, 3, lying down. You can hug the knees into the chest. If you prefer happy baby, bringing the arms inside the bent knee, grabbing the outer edge of the feet, bringing the feet up towards the sky. If you prefer to open the inner thighs, you can grab the big toe, first two fingers between the big toe, second toe, thumb wrapping around the inner edge of the big toe and straddling the feet out. If you feel you want to windshield wipe your hips, because it feels good for the lower back, of course you can. Softening the elbows, softening the shoulders for another 3, 2, 1, and exhale, release. So now we're gonna come into a tabletop position. Placing the brick stacked in front. So when we do the Chaturanga, which is the base of all the arm balances, it's really important to create that 90-degree angle. So we're going to place the hands over the brick. So the brick is going to be here as an act to create a wall. And because when we bend the elbows, when the shoulders are still above the wrist, the elbows go behind where the bricks fall. And when you bring the elbows behind, notice that the space between the base of the thumb and the first index finger starts to cup, because you're shifting the weight away from your knuckles into your wrist, which creates a kinetic chain to the elbows to the shoulders, where you can start incurring that pain and injury. So in order to avoid that, you need to shift the shoulders away from the wrist, shifting the weight away from the wrist into your knuckles, into your fingers, to be able to really press down into the base of the thumb and the first index finger. Yes. So we'll do the modified Chaturanga here with the knees on the floor. But to create the necessary right length, come into plank, where your shoulders are above the wrist, you're digging the balls of the feet into the floor, and lower the knees. And making sure you're not arching the back, collapsing the heart, tucking the tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulder blades. Suction Uddiyana Bandha, suction lower ribs. And keeping that integrity, shift the shoulders forward. And you may hold here if this is already intense. Or start bending the elbows, 1 millimeter, 2, 3, or some days shoulders are in line with the elbows, creating that 90-degree angle. And inhale, push up. Yes. So once more. Not arching the back, collapsing the heart, tucking the tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulder blades. Tucking the Uddiyana Bandha in, tucking the lower ribs in. Keeping that integrity, shift the shoulders forward. And then of course you may stay here or bend the elbows, 1 millimeter dip, looking at the horizon, 2 or 3 or 90-degree dip. And then inhale, come up, and exhale, release. For those who felt really comfortable doing that Chaturanga with the knees on the floor, you can of course do the full Chaturanga with a straight leg. So with the straight leg, there's some people where there's a lack of engagement in the legs, where the knee is kind of slightly micro-bended. It's a whole body engagement, just like the practice that we did with the low plank, forearm on the floor, squeezing the quads, lifting the kneecaps up. So if you feel like you need that reminder of how to engage the inner thighs of the quads, then have one of the bricks between your inner thighs and placing the hands in front of that brick, and then come into that plank. If it's too much, of course, you can have the knees on the floor. Digging the balls of the feet into the floor, squeezing the quads, squeezing that brick, tucking that tailbone down, expanding the space between the shoulders, tucking the legs in, and tucking that uddiyana bandha in. And once again, you shift the shoulders forward, so you're on the tippy toes. Even here, it's not relaxed in the legs, you're squeezing that brick. And then shift the shoulders forward and bend the elbows, millimeter, 2, 3, or 90 degree. And inhale, push up, and come into tabletop. And rest into child's pose. So that was the tutorial for Chaturanga. So as you build that necessary strength in that Chaturanga, it will help you with all the arm balances. But really understand it's full body engagement. And that engagement with the inner thighs, the quads, outer hips, yes, does support the lower back, but that engagement is done for all the poses, And we're going to learn that by doing a different pose. So we're going to do reverse tabletop, which is a modified pose of Purvottanasana. Purvottanasana is legs straight, fingers pointing towards the toes, and inhale, lift up. And for those who find it hard, we'll do that prep exercise, that reverse tabletop. So placing the feet hips width apart, yes, where the outer edge of the feet is in line with the outer hips. Yes. And then make sure your knees are tracking the ankles. So the knees are tracking the ankles. Yeah. And then placing the brick or the pillow between your inner thighs and placing the hands behind where the shoulders are stacked above the wrist, fingers pointing towards the toes. So by squeezing that brick, automatically your inner thighs, quads, outer hips are engaged, which supports your lower back. And then you need the engagement in the legs to help you lift the pubic bone up. If it's just the arms, I'm here. My hips are down. So really squeezing the inner thighs, the quads, pushing away the mat through the feet. You're able to lift the pubic bone up to help you open the heart. Yes. So we'll start. Inhale, lift up, really squeezing that brick. Bring the pubic bone up, chin fully tucked in, or head all the way down. No in between for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, tuck the chin in, and exhale, lower. Yeah, so this for the next one, we will go into half bridge. So bring your upper extremities all the way down to the floor, the back on the floor. And for this pose, yes, the outer edge of the feet is half a foot wider. Yeah, half a foot wider. Where you can, when you lean to the left, you can see the back of the left heels. So it's not outer heels, outer hips. The alignment is half a foot wider. Where the outer edge of the feet is half a foot wider. And squeezing the brick with the inner thighs and quads, outer hips, knee, ankle, tracks. Yeah. And then from here, once again, squeeze that brick. As you exhale, lift the pubic bone up. Really pushing away the mat through the feet, squeezing that brick, bring the pubic bone up. And breathe here for a few breaths. By engaging the inner thighs, the quads, outer hip, it supports your lower back. Yeah. So whenever we do this back bending, we're not really clenching the maximus, the fatty part of the glutes. If it's engaged more than 50%, the knees start to flop out from the neutral plane, which is the cause of the glute shooting pain to the lower back. So making sure you're engaging inner thighs, quads, outer hips by squeezing that brick, keeping the knees in alignment with your psoas, with your feet. Inhale, lower. So we'll do the second set. So come into reverse tabletop position, placing the brick. So knees, ankles, track, hands behind, fingers pointing towards the shoulders, shoulders, wrist. And inhale, squeeze that brick, bring the pubic bone up. And you may stay here. If you really want a little bit more intensity, lift the right foot to knee high. But if your hips go down, keep the feet on the floor for 4, 3, 2, 1. Right foot on the floor and left foot up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, lower. And lower the hips and roll down. Feet on the floor, knees, ankles straight. Outer edge of the feet, half a foot wider. Squeeze a brick. And exhale, lift the pubic bone up. And of course you may stay here. Or if you want a little bit more intensity, raise the right leg up to knee height, toes pointing away for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, lower. Squeeze the quads, raise the left leg to knee height for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale, lower and lower. And remove the brick and hug the knees into the chest. For the third set, we'll do a playful movement. Yes. So of course you may rest for the third set. For the third set, we're going to have the legs extended, placing the hands between the knees and the hips. Of course you can place the hands on the brick if you want that extra lift, that help. And then from here, we're going to lift the bum up, pointing the toes down, trying to bring the sit bones back and up, and exhale, bend the knees into reverse tabletop. And then inhale and exhale. Okay, so come to seated with the legs extended, toes pointing away, legs together, hands on the brick. Or if you want more, hands on the floor, hands between the knees and the hips. So we're going to push away the mat through the hands. As you inhale, lift the hips, bring the pubic bones up and away from the toes. And inhale, bring the pubic bone up as you bend the knees. And bring the sit bones back. And inhale, up. And exhale, extend the legs, bring the pubic bone up. And then inhale, up. And exhale, extend the legs, being on the heels, pointing the toes, bring the sit bones back. And inhale up into reverse tabletop. And exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. One last time. Inhale. And exhale. And bend the knees and lie down on the floor. Sorry. I guess I'm nervous. There's no audience. It feels really awkward. So although there's been hiccups through this online practice, sorry about that. I hope it gets easier as I do this online. But I hope you guys have enjoyed that class. So we have 5 minutes. So we're going to take this time to do some restorative pose, or unless you really want to lie down to go into the Shavasana, if you have the music on, switch it to something that is relaxing. If you have a bolster, of course you can place the bolster underneath your knees, against the hamstrings. So the choice is up to you. So for those who want some a little bit restorative, lie down on the floor, bending the right knee into the chest. Allowing the breath to slow down. Allowing the elbows, the shoulders to melt into the floor. And coming into supine twist, bringing the right knee to the left side, keeping both shoulders on the floor and extending the right arm, fingers away. Really opening the pec minor, and to open the side of the ribs, bringing the right hips away from the right shoulders. Exhale, release. And bring the left knee into the chest. Slowing down the breath. And exhale, bring the left knee to the right side of the mat, extending the left arm out, keeping both shoulders on the floor, opening the left pec minor, bringing the left hips away from the shoulders, opening the left side of the ribs. Exhale, release. Letting go of the Ujjayi breath into your natural belly breath. Letting go of the drishti, the gaze, by closing the eyes. Letting go of any effort in the body. And allow yourself to luxuriate in this moment. There's no need to meditate here. Enjoying this moment on the mat. Feeling the energetic impulse within your body, the energy of your soul, vibrating from within